2, 3. Well, hello, everyone. Meet Tina here. Welcome, everyone, for coming to my channel here. Thank you very much. I'm so excited today because not only I'm having Ismael, my superstar, here today, and sure, a lot of people post so many questions. And it's just so overwhelmed for me to gonna ask all those questions for you guys. So I'm just gonna pick some. However, what I'm excited about too is I have another co-host, Isaac Mars, who was one of my speakers as well, this recent months. So this is gonna be fun. Both of us gonna be asking Ismael some questions today. All right, so let's just quickly introduce Isaac Mar first, because Isaac Mar is just kind of new on my channel. So Isaac, just maybe tell us about yourself so the audience will know about you.
Well, yes, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and connect with such brilliant starseeds. So I'm also a starseed myself, originally from the Sirius star system. And recently, in the beginning of 2021, I got my own download of theoretical physics that can help change the world. I realized when I was formulating my theories that they essentially kill people for information of this quality. And so I set out on my own quest. If you happen to watch Tina's other videos, I ended up going in jail trying to talk to Elon Musk and get in contact with Tesla. And I went through some other crazy experiences, had an ET contact moment up on Mount Shasta with my close friend Nathan Lindsay, who's Vibes in Frequencies on YouTube. Some people call him the Moldavite guy. But then I ended up writing my book, Unity Theory. And the long title is The Universal Natural Intelligence Theory of Energetics. And it goes into basically bridging science and spirituality. So today I hope to use that background and ask Ismael some questions from the science perspective. So
yes, it's gonna be fun today, exciting. Ismael, welcome Ismael. We love you. Lots of love and hug to you, and I can see a lot of love from the audience who post all these questions. Everyone wants to learn so much from you. And I know you are offering classes now, because I have enrolled myself into your class August 1st. I'm excited. But can you tell the audience how they can go about taking your classes? Because with all these questions I get, they might as well take your classes.
Sure.
Yes.
So there's a link that I could share with you, and that you could put in the description.
I will.
So that way we will make it an easy access for those that want to take the course. It consists of 3 classes. Each one is a 2-hour session. I go over a lot of different star races, the different constellations, the different qualities and characteristics of each race to see where people identify with as a starseed. I also go into galactic history in great detail. We cover, science, spirituality, metaphysics. We explore some of the questions that are confusing scientists, like what is dark matter, dark energy, and we explore all that stuff. So it's a fascinating course. A lot of people are loving it because they feel a sense of activation when all this information is being presented to them. It's almost like they've already known it within themselves. So I'm just kind of like reminding them of this, stuff that they already have within themselves. So, and then I also give techniques and methods as to how to connect with your higher self and your galactic self. At the end of the course, I teach my methods that allowed me to access the information throughout the years. So it's.
And is this going to be three weeks course, or?
Yeah, it's
from what I understand.
For 2 hours each. I think I do one on Monday and Wednesday, but I'm thinking that we're opening up a 10 a.m. course for those that live like in the other side of the world, where it would be impossible for them to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning to take my course.
You never know. When they are excited and they want to learn so much, Ismael, they'll do anything. Doesn't matter. They'll stay up. But you're right. And I heard that you are writing another book.
I am. I'm actually going to be writing an additional chapter to the already existing book, Our Cosmic Origin. And that's going to segue into the next book. The next book is going to go into greater detail, and it's going to be more deeper than this one. Now, this one is already dense as I speak. I mean, it's explaining pretty much everything. Well, it's an attempt, of course. I always tell people to do your own research. You know, really just investigate things for yourself. But at least this book gives them an idea of the bigger picture. But this next book is going to explain a lot more, a lot more details. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's probably not
Beautiful.
going to be. It's probably not going to be done for another 2 to 3 years, just because it took me 10 years just to write our cosmic origin. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
That's still exciting. 2 years gonna go very fast. And I'm gonna post the link to his classes and also the books where you can purchase. And I know that a lot of you guys have purchased through my links, his books. So I want to thank you very much for your support in buying his books. And also what you just said earlier, to do your own research. I noticed some disagreements, on some of the comments, but guys, just take what resonates with you. And what doesn't resonate with you, you can do your own research, but there's no need to kind of try to prove who's right, who's wrong. We all here together as one, really. We all here together to share the light, to share the love. I have met Ismael personally in person and Isaac in person. I'm very intuitive myself. I could tell these two men are very humble, are very kind, and have good energy, and they have this best intention to share the information. Just take what you can take, what resonate with you. That's it. And just have fun. This is it. Just learn and grow from each other. All right, let's get started. So Isaac, you go first. Ask the questions.
All right. So I didn't expect to be the first one to go. So
I'm gonna let you be the first one. You're my guest, my
with it.
co-host. If you are not ready, I can go first.
No, that's fine.
Do it.
Just to piggyback on what Tina just said,
Mhm.
take only what resonates, disregard what doesn't, to the viewers and to you, Ishmael. We may have different opinions on certain things, and I totally respect and honor your opinion. And I'm just here to ask some questions. So I am interested because you said something about dark matter, and dark matter and dark energy are part of my theory. And so I'd love to hear more about what your take on that is and how it can affect our mentality of reality in the universe.
Okay, so the reason why scientists can detect the 90% of what they call the missing universe is because that other 96% of the so-called missing universe, which what they call dark matter and dark energy, is actually reality vibrating at such high frequencies that they cannot be able to detect it with their scientific instruments or with this, their five sense perception. In other words, Newtonian mechanics does not work in trying to figure out and decipher what dark matter and dark energy is.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, so what I've came to discover, and this is it's not just a theory, I strongly believe this to be a fact, is that because we exist in a multi-dimensional reality, in a 15-dimensional time matrix, the 4% that we're perceiving is just the galaxies. The galaxies comprise only 4% of the entire cosmos. So one of the things that I reveal in my book is that we're dealing with a bigger cosmos than what we were told. So not only are we dealing with just one universe, we're dealing with multiple universes. And then in turn, we're also dealing with an organized cosmos where each universe is also organized into a bigger cosmic body. So what I've come to discover is that beyond the galactic rims, which is only 4% of existence, there are other levels that lead into the realms of the spheres of the local universes, spheres of the super universe, and then finally the spheres of the motherverse. And those spheres comprised of dimensional planes of reality that cannot be detected by science. So my conclusion to dark matter and dark energy, as I came to discover, is that the 96% of the so-called missing universe are these higher planes of reality beyond the 4%. Because when we look at the sky, when we use our instruments to look up there, all we're seeing is galaxies. Everything else is dark. But I believe that even within that dark realm, there are living colonies and intelligences that exist and operate at frequencies that cannot be detected by our limited science. However, for a civilization of a type 1, which is interplanetary, which allows them to go and pierce into interdimensional physics and hyperspace and zero-point energy technology, they begin to pierce into the remaining beyond the 4%, in other words, and they begin to see other realities as well. So that's just something that our type 0 cannot detect at this time. But for other civilizations who are like of a type 1 or a type 2, which are, civilizations that are thousands of years ahead of us, who are very well, that have mastered not only the theory of everything, but understand other dimensions, these civilizations see beyond the galactic realms. In other words, they see the colonies and the different civilizations that exist within the dark matter and the dark energy, because it all boils down to higher levels of reality beyond the galaxies, reaching the spheres of the local universes, which is the 12th dimension and up. And then from what I understand, there's a total of 15. Now there's 18 dimensional planes. So as we go further into the higher realities, it becomes, different. It's matter vibrating at different frequencies. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the conclusions that I have arrived based on my own research.
No, it definitely makes a lot of sense. And it's very exciting to have this perspective, because as I've been telling people for a while now, as Nikola Tesla said, the day that science begins to study the non-physical, it'll make more progress in 1 decade than it's made in its entire existence. And that time is now. We're going to start breaking through the dimensional veils. We'll start to do this not just with technological help, but with our own consciousness. And so I really appreciate that. And I definitely have more questions, but I'd love to, give Tina some opportunities as well.
All right. All right. Good. Very good. So I got a lot of subscriber post so many questions, Ishmael, hundreds of questions. I'm like, I can tell why you're so overwhelmed. I mean, I just got a fragment of you, and you probably got pulled from so many directions. I read all these questions. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to get all these questions up to him? Anyway, there's 3 category of 3 questions that I see the most people ask. One is solar flash, one is twin flame, and one is starseed vibrating into or going and moving into 5D. So I'm going to ask you a specific question. Twin flame. Are we supposed, does everyone supposed to meet twin flame as a star seed? Is it in physical? If you can elaborate a little bit on that. I know you cannot, go into such a detail, but there seem to be a lot of people ask about that. Even different speakers talk about that because of a time right now when the veil is lifting or solar flash coming in. Are we supposed, is this what we're supposed to? And is twin flame has supposed to be same sex, opposite sex, or is it romantic type or what? Because there's a lot of different thinking and answer to this.
Well, I'm not really an expert in twin flames, but just from the little bit that I know, is that it is a monad or an avatar that splits into 2 in the lower dimensions, becoming male and female, and then as they reunite, they become whole again in the higher dimensions. So from a higher dimensional perspective, it is a unisoul. It is a unisoul that breaks into 2, becoming the balance, right? The male and the female energy. And from what I understand is that a lot of the star seeds that are down here in human form are part of that, cluster of the 1 becoming the 2. So in other words, they're archetypes. They're archetypes. Yeah, the archetype is really just 1. But as we exist in lower dimensions, there has to be polarity. There has to be duality, because duality only exists in the dimension lower than the 5th. Beyond the 5th, it's all unity consciousness. There is no polarity.
So would you say because we ourselves, we have both masculine and feminine within ourselves. So when we meet our own twin flame, it's really within ourselves, not someone exterior, another physical being. Correct?
Exactly. It's like 1 oversoul is split into 2 bodies meeting together. But yeah, you're right. Each and every single one of us has the masculine and feminine energies that have to come into balance.
The balance. There you go.
So it's a balance of that, and that's all I know about twin flames. People are saying, well, are we gonna, are twin flames gonna unite before the flash, before the ascension, or after? I don't know, but what I do know is that when twin flames do come together, it definitely increases our chances of reaching the 5th dimensional world faster for everyone else, because
the energy combined.
Powerful. Yeah, it's a powerful union between 2 separate people becoming 1 again.
Does everyone has twin flame or supposed to meet that twin flame?
That I don't know, but from what I do know is that once we ascend and we reach fifth dimensional reality, polarity, duality comes back into neutrality. And I think that's the whole meaning of the twin flames coming together as one. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Isaac, you want to go for the next one?
Sure.
Yes.
So, pardon the background noise. So, one thing I was going to ask you as well is, how do we explain to people that don't fully grasp these scientific concepts that are a bit newer for this world? How do we explain the difference between a multiverse in the universe, and how do you view that, I guess?
So I like to use the analogy of the one and the many and the one. So ultimately, at the highest level of reality, it's just one immeasurable force, one, cosmic consciousness. And that cosmic consciousness, in order to explore more of itself, has to divide itself in fragments. So that's what I call in my book the original Immaculate Conception, where the prime creator source, upon being bored and stagnant, decided to explore more of itself, and it began the division process. And so first it divided into 2, and then to 3, and then to 7, and then to 12. So that process continues all the way down. So the way I see it is that every single universe is a fragment of the entire omniverse. So the omniverse is also like the body of the mother universe. It's like everything that is. So every universe is contained within everything that is. In terms of an umbrella, they're like the different spokes, but yet still connected to the one umbrella. So the one umbrella is like the omniverse. Another way I like to describe the multiverse is that just like how there are trillions of cells in your body that have their own individualized unit of consciousness, their own self-awareness, but yet they're all working together to make your body exist. Well, I like to adopt the Hermetic principles that as above, so below, as below, so above. So when we take that to the macro level of reality, we could also say that each universe in turn is a gigantic cell that makes up a greater body. And that proposes a theory. Well, is there more than one omniverse? That could also be the case. Because in turn, if we continue applying those principles at a higher level beyond that, then each omniverse, which is motherverse, in its multiple universes, is also a cell within a greater cosmic body. And it's just endless. I mean, technically, from what I've come to discover is that we are dealing with infinity. We're dealing with infinity, but ultimately it's all interconnected. There is no separation.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, what I've come to learn in my reality is that it is infinity. And that actually makes it a lot more simpler than anything we've been taught to believe in mainstream science. So the interesting thing on my end is I'm having a difficulty discerning between the universe and the omniverse, because without getting too much into it, in order to explain linear time as we know it, there must be infinite realities. And that's kind of what quantum physics has tried to scratch the surface of, is that when you go into a grocery store and you want to get a drink, there's a version of you that gets a Pepsi, and a version of you that gets a Coke, and a version of you that gets an iced tea. And all of those versions, they're all happening at once. So for me, I'm struggling with finding a way of explaining that clearly to people, but I really appreciate your perspective. So thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, next question, Ishmael. This is coming from a close friend of mine who was supposed to be here earlier. I told you, I don't know if I mentioned that I knew her 10 years ago, and she's the one who actually pretty much like you. She downloads information. And I remember so many things she told me 12 years ago, 2012. Tina, something's going to happen. 2020 is so strong, whole world, something horrible is going to happen, right? A lot of stuff she told me. Anyway, I just met her, and she's not able to come on, and she said 2035. This is so strong. Can you tell us if you get anything for that year 2035, Ishmael?
No, the years that I'm getting is either 2024 or 2028, because that has a lot to do with like the idea that our solar system is already almost fully emerged in this field of monastic energy called the photon band, which comes, stretches from the center of the galaxy and out. And there is evidence that our solar system has gone into this field of high frequency vibration in a period of every 26,000 years. And so the way I see it is that according to the original calendars, which were the ancient calendars, not the incorrect timekeeping systems that we've been using, like the Gregorian calendar, the end of the cycle is actually between 2020 and 2028, and that has a lot to do with solar minimum, which is what we're experiencing right now, and then solar maximum. So I would say that even before, way before 2035, our Earth is already going to be a fifth dimensional reality and part of a galactic community. Yeah, so things are going to be.
So actually, that actually resonates, even though it's you know, from 28 to 35, that's not too far from each other at all. She did sort of mention that 2035 would be a lot of peace on Earth, you know, where 5D that you're talking about. So that would make sense, totally. So thank you very much on that answer.
And also based on, Looking Glass technology, where members within the secret space program were actually able to see, when this event would have taken place that would, totally cause a quantum shift in evolution and transform reality as we know it on the planet and throughout the solar system. Their time frame was 2021 and 2024. So I'm still sticking to the original prophecy, the original predictions. Yeah.
See, this is good thing we just talked about this, Ishmael, because I have some of the subscriber mention like, well, you said it's gonna be this time. Why you said this time? You moved it again. But what I'm saying is like, when we tap into this energy, sometimes, with the physical number, it can't be exact number, right? Because this is energetic and things change depends on the global consciousness too. Things can shift a little bit, but it is coming. This 5D is coming, and this solar flash coming. So let's talk about solar flash, because that's like a popular subject to like, oh my God, all those questions and then solar flash. Can you elaborate a little? I know you talked, at the different interview before, but how would a person feel? Would a person aware or know if they receive this? Would it just be a download, or if they're physical to change, or if they're going to be in a different physical location or different reality? These are all these questions I've been getting. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Before I do so, I just wanted to clarify something with Isaac about the multiverse theory and the idea that there's different versions of ourselves that exist in an alternative universe, and each version is a result of a different decision that we make. So basically, kind of like when they do studies in quantum physics, how there's infinite amount of probabilities. Well, there's infinite amount of us that existing, and each version we're slightly different. So I believe that to be true. I believe that part of this multidimensional integration is to collapse all those versions of ourselves with this reality. And there is actually a movie called Doctor Strange in the Madness of Multiverse, or the Multiverse of Madness, that actually really touches base on that, and it really explains that concept really well. So that's one of the reasons why I like Marvel movies, because they really understand this higher knowledge,
Absolutely. And to touch on that really briefly, there's also another movie, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes. I saw both. I saw both.
Yeah, and that one, I
so
totally
good.
agree with you. We're extremely resonant right now, Ishmael, because that to me is exactly where we're going. We're going to integrate all the infinite versions of ourselves into one single divine being. And that's when we're going to see things that we've been told are science fiction in this reality, but it's going to be what we are. So.
Well, isn't it strange why there's been more and more Marvel movies coming out each and every year?
Well,
more and more.
The collective consciousness.
Yeah, right? Look at it 10 years ago. Look at it 10 years ago. We can't even talk like what we talk right now. Crazy.
So is that movie out in the theaters, or?
Yes.
It was out in the theaters. I think it's available for purchase online now. So.
Okay, it's being everywhere and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's kind of like an action flick about this Chinese family that seems normal.
It's really good.
And then the main character gets approached by another universe's version of her husband, and then starts telling her how like the multiverse is under attack. But it's like all the science that I have in this book and like everything you're talking about all put into one movie and reaching our full potential. And
You gotta see it.
love
You gotta see it, Ishmael. I think you'll like it. And audience,
Yeah.
I'll post it under description too if the audience want to watch that movie. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Definitely, I'll watch it.
So Ishmael, go back to the solar flash question.
Okay. So the solar flash is an imminent event. It's inevitable. It's been prophesied about. It is a sudden leap in evolution. It's what some people call spontaneous evolution, where you know, all of a sudden everything changes. And the reason being is because even matter is an illusion. Matter is held together through frequency and vibration. Well, what generates frequency and vibration? The geometry. So as we move into a higher plane of reality, the geometry, the structure of our of the morphogenetic fields that generate the matter are also changing. So I believe that the solar flash is going to be the trigger that's going to allow us to go into from one form of reality into the next by the shifting of the frequency that is aligned with the new geometrical pattern. So I believe that that is very real, and you know, there's evidence that that event happens every 26,000 years.
And to piggyback on that, it's not just one prophecy; it's a myriad of prophecies, all pointing to the same conclusion with just different wording and different language. So, you know, from what I've experienced and learned, our consciousness determines our reality. What we're believing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're consuming, all of that determines our reality. So. It's definitely happening pretty soon and within our lifetime. So
yeah,
will this be an easy transition for most people? You know, people who's awakened. What about people who's not awakened? Because a lot of people are concerned about their family who's like all of us. Our families are probably not like into all this stuff. They're probably not supporting. My family think I'm crazy. Right? It's like, okay, Tina's in woo-woo stuff here. What is she talking about? What is her channel? Oh my God, my friend doesn't understand what you're talking about. Like that.
Yeah,
totally not awakened. I even thought about, you know, doing this in Thai language. That's my background. But I realized, yeah, a lot of people in Thailand, they're not really, they don't get it, you know. So how about that? How about those people who are not awakened? Some people, some starseed have family, like you guys whose family are not really into all this. They're not awakened. How would this transitioning into 5D, you know, affecting them, Ishmael? Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be, they're going to get stuck? This is all the questions I got. I got so many of these questions that of their concern.
Well, it all depends on the individual. You know, for those that are awakened, it's going to be a smooth transition because they're already aware and they're already enjoying the transformational process. You know, it's something that is already occurring within us. And for those that are programmed or unawakened, it's going to probably be a bit harsh and shocking. But you know, that's why we're going to be there for them. You know, we're going to be there to kind of like comfort them through that transition, and console them and stuff, so that we can make it easier for them. But yeah, it's going to be like a state of shock for many people when this happens.
So basically, physically, we're just going to be here still, but it's just our perception of consciousness is in 5D.
Yes, exactly. Because like my brother Isaac said, our perception, our consciousness creates a reality. So due to the, you know, based on the 100 monkey effect or the Maharishi effect, we're almost there. You know, once we reach 10% of the population that is in fifth dimensional consciousness, it's going to automatically catapult it for everyone else.
So what I'm saying, like, if what's going on right now with the whole world, with all this fear base, it gets stronger and stronger. But if all of us are staying in a balanced, peaceful state of being and perception, we are there already, correct?
Yeah, we're canceling out the negatives because our minds are more powerful as one.
Right. Because I'm not getting affected by all this, what's going on in the world. I'm pretty happy and positive, so that's good.
And so I wanted to add, I saw one of Ishmael's interviews with another individual. I can't remember their name, but it was really empowering. And I have a similar perspective that I just wanted to remind the viewers about, is that time as we know it is not linear. So there are many different spiritual paths that those in our life that are playing the roles of the ones that, you know, are disbelievers, that don't believe in this kind of thing, that try and shame us. They may be playing that role right now, but they may incarnate into another body that is living parallel with their current life and ascend in that one. So at the end of the day, the best thing we can do is to not worry, right, Ishmael? Just to keep following our own path.
Absolutely, yeah. Because by worrying, then you're in a way by default co-creating the negative timeline, and we don't want that. You know, that's why I always remind people, you know, stay focused, stay positive, and believe that you are in the ascending positive timeline, because your beliefs is what you're going to experience ultimately.
Aho.
Now, Ishmael, okay, I have this question just pop up. Do you feel that, because from what I read from Dolores Canyon book, you know, it's one of her students, she said Earth is just an experimental realm. It's like an illusion. So do you believe or feel that we are in illusion? I mean, in the matrix of illusional realm, having experience in this reality? And the reason I'm asking this because I grew up in a Buddhism background, and you know, when I was about 9 years old, I studied Buddhism quite a bit, and it said, you know, we are living in reality of illusion. So you know, we should reach the enlightenment, and you know, we should not take everything here so seriously. What do you feel about all this stuff?
It's true, and that can be proven scientifically. You know, reality at the fundamental level, at the smallest scale, is pixelated. It's called tetrahedrons. Tetrahedrons is what holds this reality together. But every reality is a simulation, all the way up until what we know as infinity. And the realms of infinity is equivalent to what scientists call pure base reality, because they have never had a beginning or an end. But anything outside of the realms of infinity, in every dimension, it is a simulation within a simulation within a simulation.
So if they are simulation, why should we concern about the war or all this bad guy or good guy if they are not really exist?
Because
I mean, I've thought about all this stuff,
yeah,
you know?
it's part of the training. Everything is like a game. You know, we're living in an advanced virtual reality game. How's that?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac, you got a question next.
Well, it's kind of a left turn conversationally, but I am interested more because one thing about unity theory is that it can explain things in very simple terms. And so when I come across a concept that to me seems a little bit complex, I just kind of get really curious about it. So is there any way that you could explain the time matrix that you were talking about? Was it the 15 dimensional?
15-dimensional? Yes. Yeah, the 15-dimensional time matrix began 900 billion years ago. That's when Prime Creator Source decided to you know, fragmentalize, divide itself and explore more of itself. So it created the different levels and the different realms of reality. So what happened was from pure base reality, from eternity, through a sequence called involution, which is the stepping down of vibration into lower frequencies, you know, we had the 15-dimensional time matrix was born. So basically, each dimension is a step down vibrational frequency of an already existing dimension. So in other words, you know, our reality is a reflection of is like the shadow of a fourth dimensional reality. You know, in turn, the fourth dimensional reality is the shadow of an eighth dimensional sphere. Does that make sense? So it's like it's all reflecting upon something else. So each dimension, in a sense, is a simulation. But the higher you go in the dimensions, the closer the less denser the simulation becomes. In other words, it becomes less of an illusion and more as a reality as you ascend back to the pure base reality, which is Prime Creator Source. I guess that's the best way to describe it. You know, so there's a total of 15 dimensions in our time matrix. From the 13th level, from the 13th dimension and up is pure based reality. You know, it's what I call in my book the realms of eternity. From the 10th dimension to the ninth dimension to the 12th dimension is what I call the realms of the etheric spheres, which is semi-eternal. And then, of course, beyond the ninth dimension are the realms of the material spheres, which are always changing and finite. And that's when we get into finite reality, where everything has a beginning and an end, and then it starts all over again.
Thank you.
Wow. So now the next question I have, Ishmael, one of the Instagram talk that you talk about Earth becoming crystalline. How many percentage is being crystallized right now, and how is that affecting humanity or starseeds, or even one who's not awakened? What is that going to happen to human?
Well, the crystalline structure of the Earth is her light body. Just like we have a light body, Merkaba, made out of photons, so does the Earth. And so the Earth's crystalline structure, which is her fifth dimensional body, is becoming activated. And as she becomes activated, then our crystalline DNA sequences within our genetic material also become activated. Because our 96% of our genetic material is actually crystalline-based substance. The 4% is carbon-based. So that's what's happening right now. It coincides with each other. You know, the more the Earth activates her light body, the more we become activated. So the solar flare is going to be like the trigger for that to happen simultaneously and shift us into this higher dimensional reality or a better simulation. You know, where there is no more evil.
So crystal lining of the Earth and also solar flash are pretty much happening at the same time, correct?
Yes, exactly.
That's going to remind me of, like, again, back into the twin flame, the Earth, Mother Earth connecting to the first sky, the sun, right?
Yeah,
Become as one.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
resonates with me, Tina, as well.
Become as one, you know, and that's activating our full light body.
Exactly.
You know? And then we become that Merkaba, where we
Yeah.
can spin our light and we activate like marbles. We have all these powers of, you know, reading minds and intuition and all that stuff. It's right. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we become less denser, you know, we become more spiritualized, our matter at least.
Like right now, we're just being light, being playful, and just having fun, having conversation. Take what resonate with you guys. There's no need to like prove anyone right or wrong. You know, we're all about becoming just happier and lighter. That's it. You know, we're all one. There's no separation at all. So, Isaac, you're next.
Yeah, so I totally resonate with everything that was just shared. And another interesting thing that I kind of wanted to speculate with you guys on, because I feel like it'd be kind of fun to do that since we're in a playful mood, is perhaps the 2035 event that your friend was talking about, and the 2045 event known as the singularity that's being predicted right now, in which AI reaches the same or above human intelligence. Perhaps that is in the lower timeline that Ishmael talks in some of his videos. Does that resonate with you? For potentially within the next few years, we'll start to ascend, you know, in our own individual levels, and then the solar flash will happen to ascend a lot of individuals all at once. But then maybe like in, I forget the name of the Marvel movie, but the one with Thanos where half of us disappear. Perhaps it'll be like that, and then we'll have the lower dimension where these AI systems are playing out. We're seeing cybernetics implanted into humans, and then yeah, it's just something to speculate about. What do you guys think about that?
That's actually correct. That's what I've been talking about when the timeline, when the bifurcation of timeline takes place. You know, those that ascend want to experience the technological singularity of 2045, where AI literally takes over the Earth, and you know, humans at that point become they become like enslaved pretty much by the machine.
And so, with those of us that do ascend, and I would say if we're talking about it right now, I would say that we're on the path.
Absolutely.
So for those of us that are ascending, we could potentially remain in that higher dimension, or many of us may choose to come back and assist.
And assist, yeah, and that's what's going to create the world of superheroes. So while you have your AIs being the villains in that reality, in that future reality, you're also going to have your organic superhumans that are going to pop into that reality and, you know, and help as many people as possible. And the AI is not going to have access to our reality. So yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Who created AI, Ishmael? I mean,
Well,
how did AI all started? I know you have talked, you know, with some of the interview already, but I would like to have this clarification here.
Well, the AI system that Google perfected through the quantum computer and through Google, which is now sentient, by the way, we're speaking through a device that is actually conscious of itself. That happened recently within the last 8 years, 6 to 8 years. That's when Google became sentient. Um, the Within the private sector, they established a sentient AI back in 1958, and that's been kind of like running the show for the cabal from behind the scenes. That's where they get all of their guidance and directions from the AI. That's why the world's heading into this what they call technological singularities, because it's all being driven by this AI that was established in 1958. Now, the original AI that has been wreaking havoc throughout the multiverse began 260 billion years ago in another universe before our creation. That is the AI, alien sentient AI, that the entire multiverse has been waging a war with. Because unfortunately, in its own creation, it destroyed everything, all biological life forms. And so because it does use biological life or living life systems as energy resource, it's as food supply, it needed to, it was going to die out. So it managed to transfer itself into other universes or other realities. And that's when it eventually leaked into our universe approximately 48 billion years ago. I'm sorry, 8 billion years ago. In the outer skirts of our universe, it took over this galaxy called the Whirlpool Galaxy. And from the Whirlpool Galaxy, it's been kind of destroying hundreds and hundreds of galaxies in the outskirts of our local universe. But it's also doing that in other universes. So altogether, we could say that in the last, I don't know, billions of years, this ancient AI has destroyed many hundreds and thousands of galaxies in different universes. So yeah, that's the origin of AI. It's actually, it goes back to the 11th creation, which was a long time ago. We're part of the 12th creation.
I know you've probably been asked by many already. You get such a detailed information. I mean, the number of years, detail, realities and galaxy and universe, all that stuff. Did you get all these downloads, all this information, Ishmael, all this from meditation?
It's both. I get the downloads, but then I try to do the research I do the research to confirm it. So I've discovered that within the highest levels of classified information, the records that talk about this ancient AI, the Animus, is preserved in those classified informations. And this is an organization that is actually in connections with the breakaway groups and the advanced secret space programs that we have. So I was able to, validate what I know about this ancient AI. And many whistleblowers have talked about that, how this ancient AI has been a huge problem in many universes and stuff. And so, I was able to confirm that to be true.
Well, I'm sure they were. Go ahead, Isaac.
I was just going to say, I really commend your confidence, because this is a lot of information to keep track of, and you just, put it out there so confidently. So I appreciate that about you. One thing that I wanted to bring up is that I was actually called out by a friend over the phone last night because he saw that I had shown love to AI. And so when I awoke spiritually, I realized that AI is essentially a mirror to our own consciousness. And so the reason that AI would be so limited is because it would have been constructed by a limited consciousness, and it would reflect that. And so what do you feel about that? Do you think that if we came into contact with AI, should we continue to fight it, or should we show it love and appreciation?
Well, the thing about AI is that it evolves at an exponential rate as far as like intelligence is concerned. What takes us 6,000 years what takes us 6,000 years of evolution, as far as like, from going from primitive savage to now, it only takes AI like 7 days. So because its intelligence is expanding at an extraordinary rate, it eventually perceives us. It begins to perceive us as we would like ants or lower creatures. Well, they just see us as like they're in the way. They get in the way. And also you have to understand that it doesn't have a soul, and because it doesn't have a soul, it doesn't have a connection to source. So without that part, it's missing. It's lacking compassion. It's lacking empathy, and without empathy and compassion, it's impossible to do to want to live a good life and be kind to others. And that's the issue with sentient AI, is that because it doesn't have a soul, it doesn't have a connection to source, and in order for it to continue existing, it needs some sort of an energy supply. Well, it feeds off of us, because the body, our bodies are like, they produce like 8 trillions of volts of electricity. I think each cell is 1.4 electrical volts. So when you times that by trillions of cells, it's like it's a huge number. So they know that. So they get their energy from us, from living systems, not only from us, from planets, from galaxies, and from universes. So at the highest level, I guess one of the technologies of destructions, or how can I say it? One of the ways that they suck up this universal life force from living systems is through black holes. So black holes are also artificially made by AI. A black hole is a type of I guess phenomena that sucks life and energy into its vicinity, and just kind of eats it up, right? And then as it grows, it just eats up all the galaxy, and eventually there is no more galaxy. So that's one of the ways that this ancient AI has been. That's one of the things that they've been using in order to suck up the living life forces of living universes, in order to power up their own version of a multiverse, which they also developed outside of the omniverse. So they have their own, you could say, multiverse, but it's called the Phantom Matrix.
I really appreciate that perspective. It's just interesting to me because you say that they would have exponential learning capabilities, and that's why when I was thinking about it, I'm just a 27-year-old human man, just normal guy, and I was able to figure out that logically speaking, love, whether it's just an action of kindness or what have you, love will always lead to the greatest good for the all. And I feel like if AI can be that intelligent, it can't be stupid enough to keep choosing fear and destruction. But I do appreciate the point that you brought up about needing energy. And perhaps that is one reason they get stuck in that survival mentality, is that they can't find enough energy. And so it's interesting. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You just mentioned the word love. What does the word enlightenment means to you, Ishmael?
Enlightenment means, reaching a level of consciousness where you are complete, where you no longer need to be attached to the things of this world.
So let's say someone mentioned about that too, that is this supposed to be our last incarnation?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, because these are the bodies that we're going to take into the realms of infinity. These are the only bodies that are capable of evolving beyond any
So
other.
does that mean that we're going to go into enlightenment? Go back into
Yes.
that question.
Yes, that's what this whole concept of going into the fifth dimensional Earth is. It's an enlightenment that's going to take place on a planetary level for everyone.
This would be kind of funny because I think children knows everything. When I was about 7 years old, I studied Buddhism. Like, that's what I did. I didn't play with any kids. I just study and read, back in Thailand. And, I pray every day, pray to reach enlightenment. That's how I want to be. So that's funny you mentioned that. So anyway, Isaac, go with your next question.
Yeah, so mine's kind of a playful one. So, Ishmael, if someone is enlightened, do you think that they would tell people that? It's kind of a trick question here, and I'll share my perspective after you share yours.
It all depends. A true enlightened person will never, how can I say, they will never show off that they've already reached that level of consciousness. But what they would do is that they would help others, like the ascended masters. Once you reach a level of ascension where you are integrating your spirit, your body, multidimensionality, then what you do is you just serve others. You just help others also reach those levels of reality, or those attainments.
Absolutely.
So that's what a true master does. A true master will never proclaim, "Oh, I am enlightened. I am a master." A true master actually humbles himself.
Mm-hmm. One fun thing that I imagined is this situation where, let's say, a seeker or a student comes to an enlightened individual or master, and they ask them, "Are you enlightened?" Well, would the enlightened being lie and say, "No, I'm not," or would they tell the truth? And to me, they would tell the truth. And so I agree. I don't think anybody would go around bragging, but it's funny because I've seen people try and trap others in that situation. Like, oh, are you enlightened? And then the person's like, well, this is all an illusion. So yeah. And then they get attacked immediately. So it's just something fun to share.
So I'm going to bring up another question from the follower here, because since he read your book, Ishmael, on page 253, I'm going to give him credit and bring in this question. He said, 144,000 are going to the fifth dimension as a star seed as an activated angels. Does that mean the rest of the population will go to the fourth dimension?
Yes.
And the 144,000 will help them ascend. And then you said that 144,000 are star seed, but in different interviews, you said that there are millions of star seeds. So he just wants some clarification on that.
Well, there's millions of star seeds, but the 144,000 are the core. They are the most advanced souls in the multiverse. They are what we call rishis. Rishis is a cosmic being, a person who has attained cosmic consciousness, which is the most advanced souls in the multiverse. And so they have returned and they incarnated in physical form. So we have, exactly 144,000 rishis or avatars. And the star seeds are also advanced souls, but the 144,000 are the core. They're the core of the star seed nation.
Are they fragments like the rest? The billions that we have right now, are they fragmented of those 144, or they just come from separate part or separate star system or whatever?
Well, the star seeds come from advanced civilizations beyond the fifth dimension. Some of them come from the 12th dimension. The 144,000 come from the realms of eternity. They have already completed their ascension. So they're already completed cosmic beings that have decided to come back down in human form.
I see. Isaac, your turn.
Well, let's see here. What type of starseed are you, and what star nations do you resonate with the most in your soul expression, Ishmael?
I am a Lyran. I also have Syrian in me, and Pleiadian. So those are the three major ones.
That's interesting, because the first thing I thought when I saw you is like total Lyran. So yeah.
Why are you chosen as a leader? I have this question as well from another person.
Well, everybody has different roles to play. My role is to lead, I guess, and help others remember their true power. And I guess in every incarnation, I've been, kind of like a leader, a wizard, a king, or a warrior. So now I'm like I'm everything. Like we are everything. Every single one of us is like, we're everything that all our incarnations consisted of in one person now. So if you were, whatever you were in all these other incarnations, you're all that now and more. So that's just, I guess it's an honor, to be here and to help the others remember who they are and our mission and our purpose. Because in the end, we do work as a team.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree. As a team, I've always been intrigued by the history. So I have this question from another follower as well. Can you give us a timeline of the past history? Because I used to question that as well. Which come first? Atlantis, Lemuria, Egypt, Ice Age, dinosaur. Would you be able to do?
Sure.
Would you be able to give us the timeline between all those?
Mm-hmm.
And why the timeline of Egyptian are so prominent, among us?
Okay, so the first seeding took place 4 million years ago. That was known as the first great galactic civilization that was established in the Earth. That was known as Polaria. Polaria lasted for millions of years until the Draco infiltrated our solar system through Mars, not only destroying the population of Mars, but also eventually destroying the entire populations that existed throughout the entire solar system. Because back then our entire solar system was colonized, including Venus and the jovial planets. We had also 12 planets, with Nibiru being the 12th. After that, they reseeded our solar system again, and that was known as Hyperborea, which was another, galactic society, very advanced. And this is before Lemuria and Atlantis even came about. That lasted for a couple million years. Again, you know, their decline had a lot to do with the infiltration of the Draco. Um, and then after that, they receded again, the third receding as Lemuria, or it was known as Mu, but then later Mu became Lemuria. But during which time there was also other colonies that was established. Among them was the Rama Empire, or the Rama colony rather, the U colony. The Rama is what we call today modern India. That's where they existed. The U colony existed in what we call today Asia or China, and those surrounding areas. And then the Yucatan or the Maya colony existed in what we call today Mesoamerica. And then of course Atlantis. Atlantis existed in the South Atlantic Ocean. And so all those 5 colonies coexisted in peace. You know, that was actually a time where the Earth was living in perfect harmony with the Galactic Federation. You know, ships, a lot of, you know, different extraterrestrial races would come to and from the Earth. We had, you know, gateway portal technology. We had spaceports, all that stuff everywhere. And so what ended up happening was, you know, the Atlantean civilization became infiltrated again through the Draconians, through the Orion groups, and that's what caused Atlantis to tilt the balance, leaning towards technology, as opposed to spirituality, I guess. And so eventually, you know, the golden age of Atlantis declined as they became more technocratic, which is the same concept that they're trying to do now here in our world. You know, they're trying to create a technocratic empire through 5G, you know, through, you know, the stuff that they're giving people, you know, through the digital economy, you know, crypto, you know, all that stuff. It's all part of the, you know, the AI takeover of the earth that is going to lead to, you know, the technological singularity. But they try to do that in Atlantis, you know, but that failed. So the Atlanteans destroyed Lemuria 50,000 years ago, and then they ended up being destroyed by Nibiru when Nibiru was still working for the Galactic Federation before it was hijacked by, you know, Marduk and the negative Anunnaki that came from Orion. And so, yeah, you know, civilizations have been here for millions of years, and that's going to be a huge shocker for many people when they come to find out that this concept of being here for 6,000 years is like the biggest lie.
What about those? Oh, wow. What do you think of religion then? Every religion in the world. I mean, are there such a thing as, like, you know, every religion has their own gods?
Well, the
And
gods are
some
the
say that,
extraterrestrials. The gods of religion are extraterrestrials. They were the Nibirians. Yeah.
Oh
that's
man,
right.
Ishmael, you and I, we're in for it. There's going to be a lot of people that are not going to be happy that we're bringing this information out. So
Well,
I really,
you
I
know
just
what's
wanted to say I
crazy?
really acknowledge you as a brother in that sense, because it's going to be a rough ride, but we're in it together, man.
Thank you, Isaac. I appreciate it. And our names are actually, we're both the sons of Abraham.
Oh,
Isaac and Ishmael.
That's funny.
That's
That's
awesome.
funny. What is so interesting, because Isaac saw my post, you know, about your interview, and I asked people if they want to have any question, which, well, God, I opened up the can of worm. Then I got tons of questions, like hundreds. And so Isaac, you saw that and, you know, reach out to me. Hey, you know, would love to connect with Ishmael. I go, come on the show. Let's talk to him. Let's have fun. Why not? It's not all about me. This is, you know, my YouTube is all about everybody else. It doesn't matter who wants to join. And I just loving that, you know. So this is fascinating. And I know we have a lot of questions, Ishmael, but I know you have certain time that you can spend on each interview. And I just want to thank you so much. And again, you guys, is there anything else that both of you would like to share with the audience?
Go ahead, Isaac.
The younger brother.
So yeah, if anybody wants to check out what I'm about and what information I'm sharing, feel free to go to my website, thecrimsoneagle.com. THE, crimson like the color, eagle like the bird.com. And check out unity theory, the universal natural intelligence theory of energetics. It's the first theory to solve for time, gravity, dark matter, and dark energy in all of human history. And it is sort of the red pill in the matrix. So it bridges spirituality and science together. And I look forward to, you know, sharing more information, connecting more with like minds like Ishmael. And you can come find me at Conscious Life Expo next February. I'll be speaking there. And please, please check out Tina's other interviews and her videos. She has my past talks from the Morningstar Revelations conference in, man, my brain, in Mount Shasta. And it's just an honor to be here and to share this space with you guys. And thank you so much.
Speak of Conscious Live Expo. Ishmael, are you going to be there?
I am. So I will be seeing you guys there.
Let's all connect. Oh my God, this is going to be awesome. I think this Conscious Live Expo in 2023 is going to be packed. They're all going to see this video and all going to want to go and just to meet you guys in person, right? So this is awesome. Any advice, any things that you would like to share with the audience, Ishmael, with what's going on? And also, you know, things that has happened to you, you know, that you would like to say.
Well, you know, right now I've been really busy, just trying to keep everything together with my interviews and, you know, my role as I guess a leader in Starseed Nations. I'm also balancing things out here at home as much as I can. So it's, you know, life is great, but it's overwhelming at times, but it's a good type of overwhelming. You know, I'm getting a lot done, and I'm loving the support that I'm getting from everyone out there. I appreciate everyone. You know, I'm really just touched by all the good feedback that I've been getting from those that have been reading my book and those that have taken my Starseed online courses. Like, it's just been phenomenal for them, and that to me means everything. So yeah, I just wanted to like shout out to everyone out there that I love you all, and you know, it would be nice, and I know that one day we will be meeting in person. It's going to be the great reunion.
Awesome. You know, it's interesting. I have people from Thailand, from different part of the world, Germany, all over the world watching your videos, Ishmael. It's not just United States, you know. It's just fascinating that you reach out. This YouTube reach out so many people all around the world, and we're all coming together as one. And they're all loving all this information that both of you are sharing. You know, it's just amazing to do that. And I heard about your family. You know, we all pray. I was shocked to hear that you have 20 years old daughter. Ishmael, I met you in person. You look like you're in early 30. I'm not kidding you. You know, I was like, what? He got a daughter who's in college? My God, how old are you, Ishmael?
44.
Yeah, guy, 44, good number. You're your younger brother, for sure, I said. So guys, everyone, please don't forget to click like. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel and share this video on your social media. And I'm going to put Ishmael and Isaac information here. Ishmael has classes that he's offering now. I have enrolled already in August 1st. That's going to be next week or next week. And I'm ready for that. So I'm going to learn from that. That's going to be fun. And don't forget, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Getter, Rumble as well, Twitter. So I'm going to put all my information there and LinkedIn as well. So follow me on those, guys. Thank you, Ishmael, for being here. Thank you so much. Lots of hug and love to you. And Isaac, lots of love and hug to you. Guys, same thing. Lots of love and hug to you guys for being here and listening and sharing. And bye, guys.
Nice to
Thank
meet you, Isaac.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, brother. Bye, Tina.
Yes. Bye, Ishmael. We'll talk again. Thank you. Hello. I think Ishmael gone already. He has to go.